From the Oklahoma newsroom, you're watching The Press Row. I'm Jenny Carlson here with Barry Trammell, and we're brought to you by Papa John's Pizza. Go online anytime and order your pizza at papajohns.com. Barry, we're punting our normal Press Row segment to talk about the Thunder and the current situation with Billy Donovan. Maybe we should call this Thunder Update too. We can double dip here with this video segment, but as of this moment, Thursday morning, no announcement yet. No for sure that Billy Donovan is the next coach. Talks are ongoing according to multiple reports. What's your feeling about how this is all going to play out?
I mean, it seems fairly clear that this is Billy Donovan's job to accept or decline, and he appears to be Sam Presti's #1 target. It will be difficult to get him out of Gainesville, Florida. I mean, this is a guy, 19 years he's been at Gainesville. His kids have been raised there. They've established a school there. He took the Orlando Magic job 8 years ago.
And then didn't.
A few days later said, you know what, my heart's in Gainesville. He goes back. So this is not a guy that's easily taken away. So I don't know that it's a slam dunk on Billy Donovan's part, but I think on Sam Presti's part, that's clear who he wants to hire.
You know, it's interesting you bring up the Gainesville situation because, you know, one of the things that I felt like maybe wasn't made a big deal of, and probably shouldn't have been, but something that I think may have been one of those ultimately swaying factors for Sam Presti when it comes to Scott Brooks, is that Scott's family ultimately moved back to California after a couple years here in Oklahoma. They, you know, he obviously was still here, but they were not here, and I think that ate a little bit at Sam Presti. Sam Presti is clearly sunk into this community. He and his wife, this is home. They now have a young child. They are invested in this community, and I think he wants the head coach, who's basically, you know, his right-hand man, to be the same way. It's interesting how invested Donovan is in Gainesville. Are they going to fully move here? I think all of his kids, maybe except one, are out of high school, so you would assume that they could move and be here 100%, but that's sort of an interesting dynamic. And I know a lot of people aren't talking about it, but Sam Presti is very attuned to becoming part of this community as a franchise, so I think that's something to look at. My question, Barry, you know, you talk about how it's going to be hard to get Billy Donovan out of Gainesville. The fact that he's had to think about this so long, should that be a red flag at all?
Well, I mean, I think they'll talk about it, and that'd be one of the first questions I'd have if I'm Sam Presti is, if he takes the job, say, now, Billy, are you sure? We've been down this road before, and sports history is littered with coaches who took jobs in a day or two or three later, reneged and went back. Everybody from Jack Hartman at OSU basketball in the 70s to Dana Altman at Arkansas, Glenn Mason at Georgia. All kinds of people have done that. So, I mean, I think if Billy Donovan says yes, I don't think that's when Sam Presti gets up from the table. I think that's when Sam Presti really starts the interrogation and says, let's make sure, because Billy, I want you all in. We got to be 100%.
Another big question I've got, and we've heard again, this is through multiple reports, so you don't know who's saying what, but Kevin Durant has reached out to former Florida players to gauge their thoughts on Billy Donovan, but it really sounds like that there's no sort of formal plan for Billy Donovan to meet with Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, Serge Ibaka, guys that Sam Presti wants to play for this coach for a long time to come. Is that a problem that they wouldn't at least facilitate that some of these star players meet with a guy who they would like to have coach them for a long time?
I actually don't believe that they wouldn't talk before the announcement.
It is hard to believe.
Now, and not necessarily for Sam Presti to get the okay from Durant and Westbrook.
Right.
I mean, I think it's more for Billy Donovan's state of mind and say, Billy, did you chat with these guys? How do you feel? You think this will be good? I mean, I don't think Sam ever wants to put Durant and Westbrook into the position of hiring or firing or endorsing or not endorsing a coach. I think he's steadfast on that. I think that's wise. But getting people together to talk so that they can form impressions, so that Billy Donovan can say, you know what, it went well. You know, I feel better about this whole situation. So I would be stunned if they didn't talk informally before an announcement.
Yeah, and I think I've even said this on video before. It strikes me that, you know, again, I'm the same as you. I don't think that Sam Presti's and different franchises are different, but I think at least in this case, he's not in the, in the realm of thinking that his players are going to make his coaching decisions. But it's sort of like we do business here, and I'm sure a lot of other employers are the same way. If you have a job candidate, you bring them in, they talk to a lot of different people. Ultimately, the decision is going to be made by the person who would be their direct supervisor, but they want to get a chance to meet who they're going to work with, and the people that are already in the organization are going to want to meet that person. And maybe, you know, if there's a serious red flag, you might say, hey, boss, I don't know. I've got reservations about this. I don't have any idea how the Thunder works with other hires, but that seems to me like that would be something that Sam Presti would value. He values Kevin Durant. He values Russell Westbrook, Serge Ibaka, those guys. I would think he'd value their feedback.
Well, and it wouldn't just, you're right, it wouldn't be just Durant and Westbrook. I mean, I would, if I'm Billy Donovan, I would want to talk to Nick Collison.
Sure.
If I'm Nick Collison, I wouldn't mind talking to Billy Donovan. If I'm Sam Presti, I'd like those two guys to talk. And you could even go with some of the less veteran guys. The Anthony Morrow, the Dion Waiters, that, you know, guys that haven't been here that long, but still, you know, are an integral part of the future. So I just think it's good business to do that. You mentioned it. It's the sort of the way we do hiring practices here. I know this is not anything like the NBA, but still, it's just good common sense.
Right. Well, if you're going to have a team, and if you want to be a team that works together, I think you got to make sure you've got people that like each other, that have personalities that mesh. So who knows what these days will bring. We've heard that as early as today, Billy Donovan can be announced, but it remains to be seen as we sit here on Thursday morning what exactly is going to happen with the Thunder coaching search. And be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoma.